Good morning, everybody. This is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. Today is November the 9th, and I am going to speak more about the 1111 gateway that is approaching. Prior to giving you more understanding, which you can also go back to my other video and that I made a few days ago, last week, whatever it was, and I am speaking in the same concept of what I spoke of in that video, but hopefully I'm giving you an in-depth explanation. You know, wisdom comes from several aspects. Wisdom that is taught can be useful, but wisdom that is given as well as experienced becomes the most powerful. On this journey to our connection, we are given wisdom, internal guidance of some sort, perhaps guidance from others who are on the same path, as well as our personal experience that will match somehow what we have witnessed. And that, again, is what it means to be a perfect witness. And that's something that God definitely reminded me about in my path. Reminding me that I am a perfect witness, or I can be a perfect witness, as long as I stick to the path of love. When we are a perfect witness, we are observing ourselves. We are observing an experience in relationship to how it makes us feel. We are observing emotions that arise out of nowhere in the form of detox, purification, cleansing, or because, again, as a result of an experience, and we know how to surrender. Now I'm going to do my best to read the Gospel of Thomas. This is definitely going to link us up with complete understanding as to what we are headed towards. So this is in the Gospel of Thomas, and I'm sorry I don't have the actual chapter written down, but I'll have to search for that and let you know. So Jesus spoke, "Whoever finds the interpretation of these things will not experience death." Jesus said, "Let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will become troubled. When he becomes troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over the all." Jesus said, "If those who lead you say, 'See, the kingdom is in the sky,' then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, 'It is in the sea,' then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty." Jesus said, "The man old in days will not hesitate to ask a small child 7 days old about the place of life, and he will live. For many who are first will become last, and they who become one and the same." Mary said to Jesus, "Whom are your disciples like?" And Jesus replied, "They are like the children who have settled in the field, which is not theirs. When the owners of the field come, they will say, 'Let us have back our field.' They will undress in their presence, or to let them have back their field and give it back to them. Therefore I say to you, if the owner of a house knows that the thief is coming, he will begin his vigil before he comes, and will not let him into the house of his domain to carry away his goods. You, then, be on your guard against the world. Arm yourselves with great strength, lest the robbers find a way to come to you, for the difficulty which you expect will surely materialize. Let there be among you a man of understanding. When the grain ripened, he came quickly with his sickle in his hand and reaped it. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. Jesus saw infants being suckled, and he said to his disciples, These infants being suckled are like those who enter the kingdom. They said to him, Shall we then, as children, enter the kingdom? Jesus said to them, When you make the two one, and when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below, and when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male not be male nor the female female, and when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye, and a hand in place of a hand, and a foot in place of a foot, and a likeness in place of a likeness, then you will enter the kingdom. And Jesus said, The kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman. She took a little leaven in some dough, and made it into large loaves. Let him who has ears hear. Jesus said, The kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman who was carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking on a road, still some distance from home, the handle of the jar broke and the meal emptied out behind her on the road. She did not realize it. She had noticed no accident when she reached her house. She set the jar and found it empty. Jesus said, The kingdom of the Father is like a certain man who wanted to kill a powerful man. In his own house he drew his sword and stuck it in the wall in order to find out whether his hand could carry through. Then he slew the powerful man. His disciples said to him, When will the kingdom come? And Jesus said, It will not come by waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, Here it is, or there it is. Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and men do not see it. Simon Peter said to him, Let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. And Jesus said, I myself shall lead her in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, these verses are chopped from, numbering 1 through 4, skipping on to 21, 22, and then 96 through, and so on. So it is not the full chapter. That would take forever. So what does this mean? Now, I saw the full temple completed, in full view, a part of this message. So, the temple, when we are building this temple, which is our complete physical form, we have several aspects. We have the heavenly temple and we have the earthly temple, which is the above and the below. We have the inward, which is inside of our mind, and we have the outer world, which is our earthly here existence, and things within our experience. The temple being constructed is, of course, us compiling in what Jesus said, when you make the two one, and when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below, and when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male not be male, nor the female female, and when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye, and a hand in place of a hand, and a foot in place of a foot. This is merging masculine to feminine, to creating that balance in between. This is the left and the right side of the pillars that I have spoken about. This is the above within the pineal gland, pituitary gland, that temple, the holy temple. This is the temple below within our earthly existence, stemming from our root in our sexual energy that I have expressed. This is the Shiva and the Shakti energies uniting and merging. This is the ego being, finally the ego and the spirit mixing to create that inner balance. And what does that actually mean? It, for myself, when my ego tries to come back, I can quickly shut it down. Likewise, in my past, the ego was on replay. There was never a pause, there was never a stop. Now, I pause and I stop. I can't rewind, of course, but by stopping it and pausing and stopping it, I can now change what my future holds or brings forth. And so I mentioned even before that when I envisioned this 1111 gateway approaching, my mind was telling me it's a cube. This is a cube because we have the 11th month, the 11th day of the 1111 year. 2020 reduces all the way down to 1111. Also, you can have master number 22, which again, you don't really reduce master numbers, but you try to reduce it down to its reflection. So 22 again reduces down to 1111. And so I expressed that in this cube, you have how many sides there of the cube? You have how many pillars of the cube? We have 4 pillars there. 11, 11, which are going to represent north, south, east, and west. Now you are going to have 8 vertexes in a cube, 12 edges, 6 faces. You're having north, south, east, and west, fire, air, earth, and water, sun, moon, masculine and feminine, left side, right side, inside, outside. That's my explanation here. Now, when we are looking at this gateway, when you I also totaled it to be because let me push. I think I may have actually written this down incorrectly, but we have 12 edges of, and I think that's what I was supposed to actually speak about here, the 12 edges instead of the 8 vertexes. So bear with me here. Sometimes things don't work out as this awareness came into my heart again earlier today. It was all laid out, but I was in the shower, so I couldn't remember. By the time I was done showering and came back up to get dressed, excuse me, I completely forgot how I was envisioning it again and receiving this information. So we have the 12 edges, which are the edge equals the 11. Okay, I hope that makes sense now. the pillars of the 11. And so you count to 12 of those. There's 12 of those. And then there should be, now this is probably going to make more sense because of the explanation. You have north, south, east, and west. You have the 4 elements. You'll have the sun and moon. You'll have masculine and feminine. Or you can also put left and right side, whichever it is that you prefer. Or even inside and outside here, because we know that the elements represent masculine and feminine, and we also know that the sun and moon represent a masculine and feminine energy as well. So when you have the 12 gates, because the Bible does specify 12 gates, and I expressed in the other video having dividing 12 into 3. You have, of course, 4. So you'll have the 4 elements. You have the 4 directions. And then the opposites. Now, because of the temple being completed, this is us building that temple. And that's what I also read about in the Gospel of Thomas. We build and construct our own temple by facing it, by knowing ourselves. The temple is created. The temple is created by knowing thyself. And I was just writing that. If we are unable to face ourselves, of course, we are, of course, dealing with the ego, restricting us from moving forward with spirit. We are in denial, and therefore we will never merge with spirit. Entering into the kingdom, is us receiving of a blessing, of a gift, of really that unity, that awareness, that togetherness, and building in this creation. Now, this is making that cube. The cube is, if it were a 2-dimensional aspect, is a foundation. It creates that 4, the number 4, the building blocks of our life. Again, it's going back to 4 directions, 4 elements, 4 opposites. But the 3rd-dimensional cube is in relationship to the element of earth. When our temple has been completely built, it is because when we are in this tree of life and we are learning our lessons by going through the separate levels of heaven, going through the 12 chakras, the 7 main chakras, and then the spiritual chakras. When we finally make our way back up, and I told you, you have to complete the tree of life, the cycle of the tree of life, in 2 full completions prior to the 3rd union. That is when we bring everything that we have learned, because throughout the ascension process we are going back up, merging with spirit. We come back down again, and we're bringing the knowledge, the wisdom, and the gifts that are associated with those chakras back down into our earthly existence. by opening and activating again, because by this time we should have activated higher spiritual chakras. That is when the Alta Major, the complete opening here, is which is going to be associated with receiving higher knowledge pertaining to your purpose, your connection, your spirit, your past, present, and future, however it unfolds for you. Now, regardless of where you currently are, whether or not your temple is completely built or not, the 1111 Gateway is about your temple. It is about creating your temple. It is about that balancing of the temple. And you're going to receive, again, according to where you are within your temple. If you are beginning the construction, you will receive information pertaining to that current phase. And it is a blessing. So see it as a blessing. Whatever comes through is for you and will give you a lesson, will give you your initiation, will give you your gifts, and will open you up to furthering along on your path. And those who have fully completed their temple are going to receive more pertaining to where they currently are at this level as well. This is a huge step because many of us are constructing the temple. That's what we're doing. We are constructing our holy temple to create unity within this earth plane, within our heavenly realms, and merging and uniting and becoming a unit here again. And so I hope this makes sense. If anything else comes through, I will definitely relay this to you. I just noticed the time, and so I have to go ahead and end this. I have some errands to do today, a meeting and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. I would love to hear your aspect of this and what you think about it, where you currently are, or where you feel you currently are. If you're having any blockages, if you don't feel you have constructed your temple yet, your body is going to tell you where you are blocked or where it is trying to press through. It's important for you to really feel how your body is expressing itself. Now, I also want to mention before I go, the solar plexus area, that circular motion of unity, because the above is merging with the below, that the upper triangle and lower triangles are merging and creating this belt almost. That's the sensation that I'm receiving, or have been receiving for a couple of days here. Especially last night was really intense throughout the evening. Also, the heart is being more affected here, or more balanced and triggered to open up even fuller. To be fully connected is to have a heart that is open. Now, and I also felt a jolt within my heart that stopped me in my tracks the other day. It took my breath away. It wasn't anything that hurt, but I knew I was opening. I am still feeling, which I haven't felt today. I did early in the morning, and I kind of did some releasing here, where the energy was still blocked or restricted here in my upper thigh, or in the thymus area and throat area. It's been laying here, a heaviness almost, for almost 2 weeks now, off and on. And as I continue to surrender day to day asking for more guidance, asking for release, asking for more awareness of what I should let go of that I haven't done so, it has been moving on. So the heart is going to be opened a little bit more. And remember that when things are trying to open further, there may be something to deal with pertaining to that, and a side effect, a symptom, and anything in that's opposite of what you might be experiencing. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.